Hello everybody, welcome back to my movie review series. Today we have a newer movie. Today we'll be discussing Air, the movie about Michael Jordan signing to Nike. And so, you know how we do it. I make movie reviews that nobody watches, and then I do the same thing the next day. Trying to put out some content, trying to start a career to some extent. I have 15 careers sitting on the internet. Nobody gives a fuck, blame the victim, Brad's the problem. So I'll read you the overview as presented by Google. I'll give you any overall impressions and logistics about the movie. Past that, I'll give you my grade. If you've not seen the movie and would like to, based or not based on my recommendation, you're going to shut off the video because there will be spoiler alerts. We'll be discussing the plot synopsis and character development, and any similar movies or major themes. So you can watch it on Prime Video for free. Well, I'm on a free trial, but that is where I watched it. And it's exclusively on Amazon, so it must be an Amazon original. But it says, Sonny Vaccaro and Nike pursue basketball rookie Michael Jordan, creating a partnership that revolutionizes the world of sports and contemporary culture. Released on April 5th, 2023, 92% liked it on Google, 4.3 out of 5 on Movie Insider, 92% liked it on Rotten Tomatoes, and 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb. A pretty powerhouse cast. We have Ben Affleck as Phil Knight, the president and CEO of Nike. Matt Damon as Sonny Vaccaro. Chris Tucker as Howard White. Viola Davis as Dolores Jordan. Jason Bateman as Rob Strasser. So I thought that was a pretty big powerhouse cast in terms of the crew. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, business, I've tried my best to get into business. I've tried my best to work hard and be good at something, but apparently I've not done anything in my life. But overall, I like the historical background. I thought the production was good, cast was strong, and I like the logistics of business. So overall, I definitely recommend this one. Again, it takes place in 1984. So again, I was born in 1993, so by the time I was making memories, Michael Jordan was a very big thing. And so it was interesting to see the story of his beginning. It's really about the business deal. And there's really not even, the interesting thing about this, I don't know if it's a legal thing or a name, image, and likeness thing, but there's really no Michael Jordan character. He's kind of like, there's a person there, but there's no face, and there's no Michael Jordan listed in the cast list. So I'm not sure, that's got to be some sort of licensing or something like that. But that definitely stood out to me. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I'm going to give it a solid A. Definitely recommend it. I thought it was well done. Historical background, business logistics, powerhouse cast, good story. So I definitely recommend this one, and if you've not seen it and would like to, shut off the video, there will be spoiler alerts. So the movie opens up, and then you have Rob Strasser, what was that guy's name? Jason Bateman character. He's kind of like the direct boss or direct oversight, or at least co-worker or colleague along Sonny Vaccaro. You have the Howard White, the Chris Tucker character. He's kind of like the vice president, and Phil Knight's the CEO. And so Rob Strasser's kind of running this meeting where they have a budget of $250,000 to sign three athletes for his upcoming class. And so interesting to see. Again, like I said, I think sports are extreme detriment to our society in terms of how it's produced today, with the characters and morals and integrity it's producing people today, because really just people play games, be selfish, and trace to be the greatest person ever. And now we have a bunch of incompetent, selfish people that refuse to do their jobs as they fucking kill kids left and right. So they're trying to find, but it's interesting to see, again, just like who was relevant in 1984 in terms of basketball. There's a lot of names I know, but I don't really know, again, who's from what era or whatever. I don't follow sports. I think it's a waste of time. But regardless, that's what they're doing, is they're trying to figure out just who they're going to spend their money on or try to recruit. So you have Sonny Vaccaro, who is going around to different high school basketball games. He likes to stop off in Vegas and do some gambling. But they're having this initial meeting of who they're trying to go after. They don't get a lot of good direction. Sonny's like, we should go after Michael Jordan. And they're like, we don't have nearly the budget for that. The business environment, they give you some logistics in the background about who owns the most market share in terms of basketball shoes. And so the three big companies at the time were Nike, who was doing a lot in running shoes and running shorts. And then you had Adidas, the German brand, and then Converse. And so Adidas and Converse, I guess, were the big basketball shoe producers, and Nike had, I can't remember the actual percentages, but like 17% or something, but it was very, very low. And so they're just trying to be the up-and-coming business that signs a big player. So Sonny gets on the phone with, who's the David Falk. He is the sports agent character in the movie. He represents Michael Jordan. You know, it's like, Michael Jordan loves Adidas. He's not going to do anything with Nike. No chance. And so Sonny's like trying to brainstorm of how we could get our foot in the door, or what would entice him, blah, blah, blah. And so a couple other scenes, again, going back and forth with these different meetings. He meets with Phil. He meets with Howard a couple times. The only off-putting characterization, I don't know if it's characterization, I just don't like Chris Tucker's voice. Like, honestly, people say they don't like my voice. It's like, his voice just seems like too overdone. And so, but then again, like I said, nobody likes my voice just because I learned to sing, and it scares people, and I have no identity in society, so I just get disrespected, denigrated every 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months of my entire life. It has never stopped. It is never going to stop. I keep saying it because I'm just aware that I'm literally being tortured and nobody gives a fuck. Like, just nobody cares. And so back to the movie, so he's trying to brainstorm ways to get into contention with Michael's bid for a shoe endorsement. And so he ends up, the first thing he does, I guess the only real thing, I mean, the whole thing is just trying to get this deal, so it's not a huge review. But he ends up, because like I said, his direct kind of boss or colleague is Rob Strasser, then kind of Howard White, and then Phil Knight. And Phil Knight's under the board of Nike. And so he kind of tells Rob that he's going to go, you can't, I don't really know why the going around an agent is a super bad thing, and I just don't know the world of sports or care to. It's a bunch of grown people playing games. I'm over here begging for $3,000 a month so I can pay my fucking bills and feel safe enough to do educational content. It's just facts. Our society values sports over fucking education so profoundly. Just so fucking profoundly. Never will deny it because we have to deny it. We just deny sentiment. We project our bullshit into the world and act like that's the values we have, and we have no values down zero. I do, and you guys just lie, cheat, and steal, and act like I don't exist, and it's prolific torture. And people say, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Nothing. Nothing. I need a fucking way to feel safe enough to pay my bills. That's it. And so I love watching movies about great people in society. And so he decides that he basically tells Rob and Howard that he's going to go to pull up to North Carolina at the James's house. So he does that. He gets a rental car. It's got some phone in it. And he basically just doesn't have the authority to offer him anything in writing or something because Phil is not aware of it. But he goes to the James's household, meets James Jordan, the father, and Dolores Jordan, again played by Viola Davis, the mother. And James Jordan the characterization seemed to be like a pretty laid-back father figure dude, and the mom seemed to be like the person negotiating the business contract, or more involved in the business negotiations than James. And so Sonny and Dolores have a conversation, and basically Sonny tells Dolores exactly how the meetings are going to go with Converse and Adidas. He's like, Converse are all going to be wearing red ties, and they're all going to, the head dude's going to have on a Rolex, and he kind of predicts the lines they're going to say, and he says Converse is going to be in German. He starts doing a German accent, and she's like, you can just tell it to me. I thought that was a pretty funny interaction in the movie. But they tell him that going to happen to Converse, and he's like, and if I'm right, at least take a meeting with us at Nike. And so he has the meeting, he meets with them in North Carolina, goes back to, I think they're in Oregon. When he goes back, he gets a tongue lashing from Phil Knight. But they'll have pretty tense but friendly interactions, a lot of swear words, especially, I really enjoyed on the movie Whiplash, I thought that was way too much screaming and swearing. But I thought this was a good amount of interaction. I really like the relationship between Sonny and David Falk, the sports agent, because David Falk calls him, just absolutely ringing him out as well for going to his client behind his back, and it promises to ruin his career. I'm really that tired today. I'm really, honestly, pretty much never tired. I sleep enough, but John in the bush. But I like the relationship between Sonny and David. And so now they have this meeting set up. Well, I guess it's a couple scenes that go by, but then you have a definitive meeting with Nike and Michael Jordan. And so they have to design the shoe, and basically the thought is, it took, Phil still hasn't signed off on offering the whole budget to one player, but Sonny goes and meets with the head designer, Pete Moore, and along with Rob. And there's a couple other scenes where Sonny and Rob go back and forth, or Rob. I like Jason Bateman as an actor, but again, big actor from Ozark. But Rob's basically, he's 45, he's got a daughter, he only gets to see her for 4 hours on Sunday, and the way he bonds with her is bringing her Nike shoes, and so, they have a decent, sentimental scene about talking about, if we lose this deal, we're probably all going to get fired, because again, Nike's basketball department is so little of the company's overall revenue. They go to Pete, they're going to design this shoe. Pete's the one that comes up with the name Air Jordan. He keep yawning, man. And designs the, I don't think he designs the swoosh, or might have designed the swoosh, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But he designs the shoe, comes up with the term Air Jordan, and they decide to, the interesting historical fact is that the NBA had some limit on color on the shoe, and they would find the players. And so they basically say, screw it, we'll put more red in the shoe than we're supposed to, and we'll just accept, Nike will pay the fines each game. And so, amazing to see companies have budgets like that, as I'm over here begging for, again, to eat food comfortably. It's always fun to see what our society values, is just grown people playing fucking games all day. Really the fucking worthless pieces of shit they are. Regardless, that's what happens, and they stay there all weekend, working on it, all night working on it, blah, blah, blah. And in the morning, Phil comes in and gives Sonny the final okay. He's like, fuck it, offer him the full $250 and the shoe line, blah, blah, blah. And so they do that. You have some scenes where the Jordans meet with Adidas and Converse, and the meetings go exactly as Sonny had predicted when he met with them in North Carolina. And then they come in, they plan out just the logistics of the actual meeting. Phil's going to come in a little late because he runs $1 billion company, but he's so important. This meeting is so important, he's going to make time for it. And yeah, so in the meeting you have Sonny, Howard, Rob. Again, I think Howard's lines are I just don't like Chris Tucker's voice. It doesn't seem natural to me. It just doesn't seem, it seems overdone. Pete is in the room. He has some interesting things. He's kind of the nerdy designer type of characterization. And David Falk with the Jordans. And so they start off with the introduction. Howard's a little late unintentionally, but he shows up, not a big development. And they start doing the meeting, and then they start running this video, and then Sonny kind of improvises and shuts off the video and just gives an impassioned speech to Michael and his family. So the meeting goes well, the Jordans leave. They're all very excited, thinking that just sensing the tension in the room as the deal is going to get closed or going to go well. And so now they're anxious and excited to see what happens. And so Sonny's waiting by the phone. Couple quick scenes later, gets a call from Howard, and Adidas had offered Michael Jordan the same $250 with a car. He wanted a Mercedes. And so basically, Sonny takes that as defeat. And is we're never gonna close this now. Quick couple scenes later, gets a call from Dolores Jordan, and is we'll accept your offer. Sonny starts getting extremely excited. And then Dolores is but we also want, revenue share in each pair of shoes sold with his name on it. And so Sonny's nah, can't do it. This is not how it's done. Which again, interesting to see the business development as to when people started getting, negotiation deals where they can share the revenue. And again, this takes place in 1984. And so Sonny goes back to Phil, and Phil's fuck it again, let's do it. This is how I built this company, is taking risks and going out there and trying to get stuff done. And I had learned before, I had a graphic arts design class in high school with Mrs. Allmiller, but we had to design stuff. And I had learned in that class that the design for Nike was $30 or something before a meeting. So they have a scene where they reference the actual price of the Nike logo, and then he's go get the deal done. And so they end up closing the deal, But actually, nuance to the plot. It wasn't clear from Nike's standpoint. They agreed to the revenue sharing and agreed to the 250, but they never in the actual movie they never like addressed the red Mercedes. And so once they close the deal, everyone's excited. Again, Dolores and Sonny go back and forth a little bit in terms of just like, discussing life and just like the scenario of athletes making money off of their endorsements, bringing companies stuff. So I thought that scene was decent. But they close the deal. Everyone in the office is going crazy. Sonny calls Rob, who's again worried about losing a relationship with his kid. So the office is all excited the deal's being closed. And so the movie wraps up by, you see some statistics. It sold the Air Jordan line in the first year. Phil says in the movie, what's the most we've ever done in a shoe? Because he's kind of contemplating like how much money we're going to lose as a business operator. And if you can generate money, whether it's 1% or 99%, as long as I'm making more money, I would love to do that business. And so interesting to see people like not getting the business advantage of marketing exposure from having a single individual. Like again, obviously Michael Jordan wasn't Michael Jordan yet, but in the movie he's still very promising. Blah blah blah. And so, but you get some stats like the first year it did like $162-ish million in sales, and the best shoe ever had done like $3 million. And then currently it's estimated Michael Jordan's making $400 million a year in passive income from his association with Nike. And it's done like $4 billion. I think it does $4 billion a year. He makes about $400 million off of it. You learn that Pete Moore had died just before the release of the production of this movie, and just some more backups. David Falk sells his licensing or agency for $100 million, eats alone, but at least he's rich and doesn't care. And then it's literally what they say in the movie. Howard White goes on to do something else, or is like the head of the division now. And you just get cut screens of the actual real life events. So overall, thoroughly liked it. Well done. And again, I hate sports, but I like history. So, and certainly a cultural icon for sure. And so major themes. Again, first of all, being able to pay your bills, having some sort of worth, knowing that you have some sort of value that you can negotiate with, not just being a fucking scapegoat and making me be able to eat dinner tonight. Just seeing these numbers, man. I've tried so hard to get into the fucking business world. And every opportunity I've worked for flatly is legally obligated to be owed to me. To just do whatever they want. And so it's just like, the society has just kicked me the fuck out. And it's disgusting. Every day of my life is disgusting. Every day of my life that I say it's disgusting, my mom or my brother or somebody like, what's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you? My entire career has been stolen from me. And it's like 15 different careers. I could be a touring lecturer. And again, any research subject that I'm actively researching in, which is effectively all of them. Any music tour, all of these award shows, all of this fucking bullshit celebrity culture, just kick Brad out and act like he doesn't exist. And so as a statement, I don't have a written will at current times, but my legal lecture series and these videos are me documenting every day of my life. There was never allowed to be a movie made about my life. There was never a TV show allowed to be made about my life. There was no art. Nobody else is allowed to draw me, talk about me. Don't ever speak my fucking name. If my personal life doesn't matter, which it evidently doesn't, do not act like I exist in this fucking world. The minute that I can clear $3,000 a month stably, I am done. I am out of this disgusting species called human beings. They are selfish. Our world is built on fucking sports. Sports people can make $400 $1 million in passive income, and Michael Jordan is a cocky, arrogant, worthless fucking dick. You bounce a ball, cool, brother. But you can pay your fucking bills? As I write your stupid fucking kids' textbooks every fucking day? So again, there was absolutely no acknowledgement, definitely no statute, but no art is allowed to be produced to describe my life. My life doesn't matter, so my life will not be described, and return all of my property that has been signed for at MSRI or other places, and it's going to be burned. I built the museum, and I'm going to tear it down too. And so this life is disgusting. I just feel fucking disgusting day in and day out, and I will never just be acknowledged that I exist in this society. And all I'm asking for, nothing else besides a way to pay my bills. That is it. I have been begging for 9 to 10 years. I have been trying to do business for every minute of every day to a rate other people can't for 9 to 10 years. So then I watched Michael Jordan just being a cultural influence. That would definitely never be me, even though I unified the natural sciences 7 fucking years ago. And one of the, probably the most prolific guitar composer on guitar, certainly up there in piano. And I'm over here literally applying for to be a manager at a restaurant. And I own a restaurant, but it's why don't I just give myself a job? And it's why don't I just get a time frame so I can manage the money I have so I can continue to do educational content? But nope, the answer is just to act like bread doesn't exist and he's gonna flop around until he's fucking dead. So, again, I want to get into the business world so fucking bad. But there is no opportunities. There's just criminals like Mark Cuban, and Robert Herjavec, and Kevin O'Leary, and Lori Vernier, and Barbara Corcoran will sit up on fucking ABC on Friday nights and tell you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, and then in real life they'll just fucking snuff out your fucking life like the liars and cheats they fucking are. If I ever get into the corporate business world, you guys are truly committing corporate fraud to a profound and extensive level. I'm willing to bury every fucking company and every fucking person I fucking can. And all you have is your big gang members, your law enforcement who've done nothing for the society besides start wars for the past 80 fucking years. Somehow they suck the right dicks, they swear to the flag, they screech the bald eagle, and they kill a bunch of kids and say, well, we can do basically whatever we want. You people are fucking disgusting. And I'll do everything I can to shame 3 generations of your family till they can't eat food. So, it is what it is, that's what the fuck it is. You guys keep torturing me. Just keep fucking torturing me. As long as I'm not dead, I'm gonna sit here and fucking fight. And if I ever fucking get into the fucking game, you are buried. You are done. You are out. Next. Thanks for fucking playing. So, I recommend Air the movie. Obviously, my life is destroyed. My life has always been destroyed and it will never fucking change because I am the scapegoat for the entire 8 billion human beings that are worthless animals on this rock. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.